intro music is provided by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com.
Please check out the Night Dreams Talk Radio website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Also, if you want to keep our show free of advertising, just hit the donate button. Give a buck or two. Remember, all prior shows are always free to listen to. We at Night Dreams Talk Radio thank you for your support.
And yes, we do, all you night dreamers out there. This is Michael W. Hall, your good old paranormal lawyer, coming at you on Night Dreams Talk Radio at nightdreamstalkradio.com. And we are here on Saturday night again. And, of course, this is December 8th, 2018. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are going to have a good party for the next hour or so. We're going to talk UFOs with Peter Davenport, see what the new sighting reports are. We're also going to have some cryptid and interesting weird news from Vince Inzunza of Pacific North Weird. So that'll be fun, see what he's been up to the last week or so. And our main guest for tonight is Olav-Phillips. And Olaf is a well-rounded paranormal researcher into UFOs, Bigfoots, and the secret space program. So it is going to be a packed night tonight. So without further ado, I think what we ought to do is bring Peter Davenport on right now from the National UFO Reporting Center and find out what the heck has been going on here with these sighting reports lately. Hello, Peter.
Well, good evening, Michael. It's so nice to be with you again, and you're doing a great job as a host. You're always fun to work with.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's just a pleasure to me to actually, you and I go quite a few years back, about 23, I think, or at this point, almost 24. Right. But it is fun to be able to get you on the air so that we can spread the news about some of these strange sighting reports that are going on all around the country that people probably don't need to actually don't hear about unless they get on Coast to Coast or our show at Night Dreams Talk Radio. So just go ahead and do whatever you can think would be important to let the folks know about.
Well, I've got a short presentation, and I guarantee it's short because I'm looking forward to hearing what Vince and Olaf have to say tonight. So I'm not going to make this very long, but I'd like to present maybe 3 or 4 reports that have come in recently. The first one I'd like to discuss comes from Rogersville, Tennessee. 8 days ago, the 30th of November, a gentleman was standing outside and his wife called him on his cell phone and said, "Honey, I think you ought to go down to our horse stable. There's something going on down there." Well, he writes he didn't waste any time going down there because they have some pretty valuable horses. And to his amazement, he writes in his report, a bronze rectangle hovering over their horse stable, just hovering there. And while he was looking at it, his wife joined him. The two of them stood there and watched this bronze rectangle just hover over the stable. I have no idea what it's doing and what it was doing, and the witnesses don't have any idea what it was doing there, but it's a very intriguing report. I mention it, too, because about 12 hours later, Seven Devils, North Carolina, a gentleman was standing outside, look at it, about 10:30 p.m., so again, roughly 12 hours after the sighting over Rogersville, Tennessee. Gentleman was looking to the north, admiring a ski resort, the Hawks Nest Ski Resort in North Carolina, when he became aware of a huge object hovering motionless in the sky, actually not above him, but rather below him. He was on a mountaintop at about 3,600 feet, he estimates, and he was looking down on this object, which is the reason he was able to get a good estimate of what its size was. And if people would like to see the witness's illustration, they can go to our website, ufocenter.com, ufocenter.com, and see the illustration provided by the witness. a very nice report.
What was the shape of that one? Did he report?
He likens it, Michael, to a gigantic iPhone, the size of a football field. Imagine just expanding your iPhone until it's the size of a football field.
Oh,
and it was
my.
Totally black except for a cluster of white or yellow lights on its ventral surface. So he got a very good look at it and does an excellent job of describing it. And the same night, 2 nights later, and this is now the 2nd of December, a gentleman writes that he saw an object. Again, I include this one because it involves a rectangular-shaped object. He saw a rectangular-shaped object consisting of multiple rectangular yellow lights streak overhead in downtown St. Louis, Missouri. And the interesting thing about this sighting is that he actually heard the object go over his head. He asserts that it was very loud. So there are a lot of very, very intriguing reports being submitted by seemingly credible witnesses. The last report I'd like to touch on briefly is from your neck of the woods, actually a little north of you in the Seattle area, up in Anacortes. This is this past Thursday night. 2 nights ago, a gentleman was on his way to work. This is now 11 p.m. on Thursday, the 6th of November, and he saw a very, very bright object come streaking down out of the night sky and illuminate a good portion of the area he was in. The first question we ask, of course, could it have been a meteor? And his impression is it was not, because of a host of things he describes in his report. And other witnesses, co-workers of his actually, were witness to the same object, and they're going to perform triangulation and try to calculate how high the object was and therefore how big it was and how fast it was moving. So we should have that report posted later this week to our website, and people can hopefully read his analysis of what they determined velocity was.
In any event, was this one of those orange fireball kind of sightings, do you think, again?
Apparently not. It was a white light, Michael.
Oh, got it.
We have received many orange fireball reports from the Pacific Northwest, some really good ones, but this one was not one of them, and the object was moving very fast. He said it was descending at about an 80 or 85 degree angle from the horizontal, so it was coming down almost straight down from his vantage point.
Yeah.
An interesting sidelight to this last report is it is not listed on the American Meteor Society website. So whatever it was probably was not very high. It wasn't visible for a large area around, and therefore probably not a meteor. I suspect it was something else. But that gives our listeners a flavor for the type of objects that are being reported to the National UFO Reporting Center. We updated our site just last night, so there are a lot of very, very good reports posted there now.
Oh, wonderful. So you tracked Christian down, your website master.
Our webmaster was among the missing for the longest time, and he's just working very hard, as am I, he's running a software company with about 40 employees, and it keeps him really busy. How he manages to do work in the UFO field and get these reports posted, I have no idea. But in any event, he got it done last night, and we've got a lot of good reports posted to the website now.
Yes, of course, and that's UFOcenter.com if people want to check out the National UFO Reporting Center. And Peter Davenport's great work, along with Kristen Stepien, his webmaster. It's just a fascinating website to go to, just packed full of information. And tonight, Peter, you've told us about 3 basic rectangle objects, one of them in Rogerstown, Tennessee, and one of them in North Carolina, and then one of them the size of a football field seen from above it. Now that is, you don't get to see very many sighting reports of a massive UFO that big, but someone being higher than the object that's floating past them and looking down upon it. So that's fascinating stuff.
I think you're right. That's a rarity. And the advantage of being able to look down on an object with the ground behind it is it allows you to estimate its distance, or certainly determine the maximum distance it could have been from you.
Yes.
And that allows you then to estimate its size. But I talked to that witness, and he's a very seemingly quite credible witness.
I can't imagine a rectangle being that large that's a mile in length. Of course, now you're talking the Phoenix Lights, sighting was about a mile long as well, they're saying, but that was more of a boomerang or a chevron shape, but these things are huge. I don't know how they get past the radar in the area.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, and this was Anacortes, very close to Whidbey Naval Air Station, and the gentleman was going to contact the radar shack there to see whether they might have picked up something. But if it's that low, if it's below the mountaintops, it's probably not going to be picked up by radar.
That's true. Might be what their strategy is. Well, listen, let's tell folks how they can support the National UFO Reporting Center with a small or even a large donation if they're so inclined.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation to do that. Of course, the greatest contribution they can make is a detailed written report if they've ever seen a UFO in their lives, particularly recently. But if they would like to help us financially and help us pay the light bill and the phone bill and the internet bill, they could send a check to our postal box, which is P.O. Box 700, Davenport, Washington, 99122. That address again is the National UFO Reporting Center, P.O. Box 700, Davenport, Washington, like my name, Davenport, Washington, 99122. And, of course, our hotline, which has been the same for 44 years, is area code 206-722-3000.
Yes, the most famous phone number in ufology, ladies and gentlemen, which is in every single FAA tower on military bases and private airports across the country. 206-722-3000. Well, Peter, thank you very much for your appearance tonight. Gosh, it was short and sweet, but you packed a whole lot into that.
Yeah, and there are many more reports. We just posted about 50 reports to our website, so I touched on about 8% of what we have posted recently.
Yeah, these are brand new ones, obviously, so this is the time for people to jump on UFOcenter.com and check them out.
Very good. Well, thank you, Peter. Michael. It's always fun to work with you, and I'm going to tune in and hear what your next two guests have to say. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, well, stay warm out there, and